In climbing, there are a lot of different ways to improve, and I've tried them all in the past decade. And during that process, I've learned a thing or two about what helps the most, but also what doesn't. On average, if a climber manages to reach V5, which is 6C, it'll take them 2.5 years to get there. In this 3-part series, I will walk you through how I believe you can go from V0 to V11 in the easiest way possible. Starting with today's video, where we'll be discussing how to make it through the first couple of grades, ending at V5. My hope is that this video will help you get there sooner, should that be your goal. In this episode, I have 5 different exercises for you, and we'll discuss why and how they are best performed. After we've talked about the exercises, we'll take a look at how a beginner climber performs them. To get things started, we need to look at climbing as a whole. It is a fundamentally movement-based sport where strength can make things a lot easier. However, strength is something which comes into play a lot later in your career, and in order to achieve the best possible progress, it's even more important to make sure your movement pattern is as efficient as it can be early on. In fact, too much strength can actually damage your climbing skill, since it allows you to move incorrectly. Basically, for every incorrect move that you perform, the more you train in an unbalanced way. I've teamed up with Peter over at Crimpd, which is an app used to log, track, and remember your workouts. And we put all of these inside the app so that you can easily work them into your training schedule without having to pick up this video every time.
When you download the app, you'll see my playlist inside. In it, you'll find all the individual exercises and be able to log them. If you then upgrade to Crimpd Plus, you can make use of our custom-made skill template, which automatically builds a training schedule for you, helping you easily follow and check things off each week as you progress through the exercises. On top of that, Crimpd Plus has more than 200 other workouts for you to try out should you want to add some extra training to your program. In celebration of this launch, we're also doing a double giveaway, where you can win a one-on-one coaching session with me as well as a lifetime subscription to Crimpd Plus. How? Well, all you have to do is log one of my workouts and you'll be eligible for the lottery. Also, if you keep up with your training, you'll increase your chances, since we're allowing 1 entry per day. The giveaway ends on November 15th, so you can fit 4 weeks worth of entries in there.
That being said, let's take a look at what the drills actually are. A common mistake from beginners is the lack of dynamic movement. Since the holds are often set to be a bit bigger and more generous, it's easy to be encouraged to hold tight and move slowly. This movement pattern is highly energy demanding, and the worse the holds get, the less realistic it is to make it through the entire climb this way. The first exercise is called the dynamic drill, and with it we'll learn how to move in a way which can feel very uncomfortable at first, but will give you great benefits as you perfect it. I've always had this saying that you want to be like rubber on the wall. Imagine a rubber band that's being stretched out. That's what you want your arms to work as. Using that energy that's being built up as you stretch them out. The perk with this is that you will be able to utilize your hips much more, and you'll be able to generate more energy through your arms. So in the end, you kind of bounce between the holds. This isn't really something we have to train constantly, and the importance of it is more so to just bring some light practice into our sessions. The exercise is actually quite simple. We select the boulder on a round vertical to 20-degree wall that's at the very lowest level we can find, around V0, V1 at most. Instead of climbing this boulder any way you'd like, you instead have to move between every single hold without stopping a single time. This can be tricky on some boulders, but simply do your best, and if you happen to stop, try to figure out what happened and how you could have avoided it. Once you've completed this climb, you rest for 2 to 3 minutes and complete the drill on 2 additional boulders of a similar difficulty. The next exercise is the no hand slab. Climbing without the use of your hands is one of the most easy ways to guarantee improvement from your footwork. In some cases, it certainly can be quite challenging and not very beginner friendly, but that is not always the case, as you will see later in this episode. To perform this exercise, what you need to do is find an inclined wall with preferably some big holds on it. The goal is to climb from the bottom to the top, using your hips to move your body to preferable positions, and then help force your legs and core to keep your balance. It can be quite scary at first, so feel free to use your hands on the wall and let them hover above the good holds, so that if you were to slip, you can easily catch yourself. And also, if it's too difficult, you can also use your pinkies to get some light balance from just them, but still try to force the movement down through your feet. The goal with this is to minimize the use of our hands, so a bit of assistance can still be okay. We do this 6 times in total, and it is completely fine to mix hold colors if necessary, and you also don't have to find a specific route for it. The point is to get a variety of movements in using just your feet. You'll learn the importance of using your feet and hips regardless. The pull-up is probably the only exercise that I think newer climbers really need to properly work on, unless you can do more than, say, 13 already. For some, the regular pull-up will just be way too difficult to perform, let alone train multiple reps with. Luckily, there's a variation to it that's even more productive and that more people can do, called the negative pull-up. All you have to do is jump to the top of the bar and then slowly lower yourself towards the ground. Repeat this motion with 5 repetitions and for 3 sets, resting around 2 minutes between each set. Each set should be performed so that you have enough in the tank to perform, say, 1 or 2 more repetitions. So you don't want to spend every energy you have on every set. Try to keep a little bit in the tank. If you can't jump from the ground to the top of the bar, use a stool or a box to get you up there. I would recommend most people to do this after your climbing session, as it's important to maintain your strength to be able to apply proper technique when you're actually climbing. One of the biggest errors I see when climbers start to try V3 and V4s is that they don't properly know how to actually hold onto the holds. There are 3 grip types that I think are the most important ones to have a good base for: the half crimp, the open-handed grip, and the sloper. However, it's not necessary to train finger strength at this level, as it will most likely just lead to injury, and you will regardless get that same strength from just climbing on regular boulders and practicing the sport. The drill we do is instead focused on memorizing these hold types and how to hold them correctly. So we perform them on something called a hangboard, where most of the time you use this tool for training your fingers and hanging on the holds. But as a beginner, you just should not let your feet leave the ground whatsoever. We start off by engaging in the half crimped position, which means that your fingers are in a 90-degree angle. And we do this for 5 seconds and then rest for 5 and repeat 5 times. The next grip type is an open-handed 3-finger drag, where we simply stretch out our index, middle, and ring finger. We do the same protocol here as we did the first time. And lastly, we engage on a sloper. This is a rounded hold that often encourages your fingers to be squeezed together and forces you to engage your entire body for the most efficient force output. We do 5 seconds on, 5 seconds off, and then repeat this 5 times. Lastly comes the longest exercise that I have in this protocol, but also one that will make a huge difference. This is about practicing our mistakes and optimizing the little things. We find a boulder that's at our flash level, meaning that you should be able to do it on the first attempt, but as close to your max as possible. We climb this boulder and search for one specific thing that we could have done better. After a 2 to 5 minute rest, we focus all of our energy on this one thing for the next attempt and repeat the climb once more. After this attempt, we figure out one more thing that we could have done better again and repeat the process. You want to continue with this for an additional 3 boulders, and in total this exercise should take around 45 minutes to an hour. What we'll learn from this is how to correct our mistakes, which is something you'll notice elite level climbers obsess about.
Going from this like really sharp shark's tooth crimper up to this really glassy quarter pad mini pinch, and hitting that right and being able to dyno all the way to this like half pad rounded crimp and control this near horizontal swing out.
And so with that mindset, you'll progress way faster than if you were just trying to go by intuition. So, as I mentioned, all of these exercises are in the Crimpd app, and each exercise can be performed on its own or as part of a skill template where you'll get a 6-week protocol to follow. For the V0 to V5 template, we're expecting you to climb for around 2 days a week before reaching V5, and so the training schedule is based on that assumption. Alright, enough said, it's time to take a look at a beginner trying these exercises so you all can hopefully relate to them a little bit more.
And here we go. Our test subject for this, this workout basically. Samuel here is Cordy's brother. Genetically gifted with climbing, yes, but also a complete beginner. You are very good. The few times I've seen you, you have been very skilled, but we haven't really tested you, or like you've never been pushed to climb better really. You've just kind of wandered around the gym. So we're gonna test out all of these exercises on the wall, starting off with the dynamic drill. So what I want you to do is climb this green taped boulder once and just do it any way you want, and then we'll talk about what you're gonna do differently to go after. Nice, come on. There you go. Nice. Okay.
Now we're going to do something that's a little bit different, and it's going to feel pretty awkward for the climber. And the idea is that I want you to never stop moving when you're on the wall. I want you to try and think of your body like rubber. It's more like, you know the term be like water? Well, be like rubber is what I apply here. Just seamlessly moving through the different parts of the boulder. And this is because, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm sure the viewer can, that the climber, especially beginners, often lock up a lot. They just tense their muscles and they move kind of inefficiently because we're holding on pretty good holds. And this encourages a movement pattern that's not really optimal. But the reason we do it is that it feels better for the body. Next step is I'll show you how I would do it, and you try and replicate as much as possible of the intention I have here. So moving seamlessly between the holds. For you, this isn't gonna feel like the best way to climb the boulder. It's just that you wanna encourage these like straight arms, using momentum, using your hips to move between the holds. And that's what I want you to try now, okay? Okay, so you did a lot of things well, but I'm sure that almost felt harder than the first one, just because you had to like extra compensate by tensing extra between the moves, right?
Yeah.
Which makes sense. There are like many ways to optimize this and do it better, but the point is to just kind of understand that, because you climbed it in almost half the time when you went on the first go, which is basically just you don't have to hold on for as long, and you're using efficiency to climb faster. But you're still not obviously where you want to be in terms of how to minimize the energy expenditure when moving dynamically.
I feel like I find it really difficult to have a moment in which I start the movement and just continue.
Yeah.
Because I really do catch every grip.
Yeah, you want to stop, you want to feel comfortable first.
Really do.
I would say you're combining the two methods of climbing quite statically and a bit dynamically now, which is really, really good and what most advanced climbers will end up doing. But as a beginner, you're almost always more inclined towards the static method of climbing. So yeah, just encouraging this movement pattern is good. Next up, the no hands slab. This is my favorite exercise in the world. We're gonna try this pink, and basically you're gonna be like walking up this wall is the end goal.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it's gonna feel probably quite crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a lot about commitment. Yeah, good. Okay, so before we continue, like this is an important aspect to it. You really wanna get your entire body weight into it, so you're not just committing on, like people are often scared of the wall, and you have to just basically lick it, like get as close to it as possible, okay?
Yeah.
Commit to it and like really lean in on that foot. Yep, yes, so good. Now use your hips a lot and really like feel your toes, just feel everything work together. Try and make space. If you need to use your hands for a little bit of balance, that's fine, but just trying not to grab any proper climbing holds. You're really focusing on your hip work and your feet. Good, really good. Relax into your toes. Really good effort. It takes like a lot of patience, and it can be quite frustrating, this exercise, but it can be really, really good to just understand like all these minor details that makes you stick to the wall. Yeah. Tense the toe, nice, come on. So good, come on. So good, come on, tense the leg, yeah. Get the energy back. Good focus, really good, Sam. So good. Come on. Trust it. Yes, so good. Come on. Really relax. And if it feels scary, your hand can hover above the white hold if you need it to. Yes, come on. Push. Wow.
Why did that work?
That's the thing, that's what you're learning. Why does it work? It's just one little step and you can grab the finishing hold up left later on.
Jeez.
Nice. That was so good. I mean, that was fantastic. That was absolutely fantastic. Seriously, I'm genuinely impressed by that performance. I would say that for most people, even if you're climbing V5, it'll probably not look the same as it did for Sam. Like, I would recommend a lot of people to be ready with the pinkies and be okay with grabbing some holds, going for it all out, like trusting your feet, you know, 4 or 5 times in one climb. That was seriously impressive.
Too scary as well.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do now is one more boulder, blue tape. Usually blue tapes seem to go quite easily for you. On the first go, basically climb it as you want to, but try and observe the issues you might be making, or like the mistakes you're making on the climb, and then we'll talk about what to make better.
Perfect.
Yeah, come on. Nice, come on. Come on. Got it. I think you want your left foot down on the box. Yeah, yeah. Come on. So good.
Aha! There it is. Okay.
Yeah. Nice. Another flash for Sam. Crazy good, this guy. You, on this climb, you did climb it pretty well, but you spent a lot of time on the wall. So what are the things you would want to do differently on this specific climb?
Like in this section, I spent a lot of time just changing position between hands. And I think that once I get over here with the left foot, I could just straight up climb to the penultimate hold and get in the right positions and to arrive to the top.
Okay, right away.
Yeah, what I would like for the next try is to feel familiar with what's going on here.
Okay.
So that I when I'm climbing, when I'm on the wall, I can just make sure that everything is going as planned, that I'm reacting in the right way.
Yeah.
And that I can make sure that everything happens as efficiently as possible. But at the moment, it's feeling familiar.
Cool. Yeah, perfect. Well, let's make it happen. Let's make it familiar. And right away, just get it. Yeah, good. Good confidence. Come on. Nice. Good. Good. Come on. Yeah. So good. So good. Yeah. That was a wild difference. That was really, really good.
It was quicker.
It's not just quicker, just the entire attitude of you as a climber on the wall there. I mean, because you didn't really... The cool thing is, okay, so you didn't really execute nowhere near the same way as when you did it the first time. It's not like you did it the same way and faster. You just did it with more confidence. Like, that was the only difference. You just kind of knew what you wanted to do and you executed on that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you're like, this I can optimize?
Yeah. I think that there's... I just think it's a bit personal, but the feeling on the wall, I felt much more, for sure, confident and familiar with what was I going to do. But now that I feel this way,
yeah,
I think it would be good just to feel comfortable while doing it.
Cool, perfect. All right, one more go. Nice, good start. Nice, come on. Nice, Sam. Yeah, it's a walk in the park now. That's so cool.
Yeah, this feels much better.
For most people, you can keep on doing this exercise basically for as long as you want to in a session. We're gonna quit now because we still have one more thing that we're gonna showcase. But otherwise, this is just a perfect way to train like volume, repeating climbs really asking yourself the questions, what could I have done better? Trying to execute on that 2 or 3 times at a level where you kind of flash the climb or do it really, really quickly in 1 or 2 attempts most. What did you think of this exercise?
It's nice. It's nice to feel this way.
Sweet, right. Well, we're gonna do something a little bit less fun now, but still good practice for new climbers. So we're gonna look at climbing holds. So let's head inside.
I decided to not showcase grip exercise and the negative pull-up since they're quite basic, but Sam tried the grip exercise and said,
Yeah, I was felt like discovering a new movement, a new position.
Yeah.
So this is the end of the V0 to V5 section of this series, but hit the subscribe button to not miss the V5 to V8 and the V8 and above that will be released in the coming weeks. All the exercises will be available in the free version of Crimpd, so download the app and check them out for your next session, and I'll see you in the next video.